So the theme of this year's Congress is Future India, Science and Technology. As the name in itself says, Future India will be driven by science and technology. Sir, could you please elaborate a little on it?
You see, it is now well-known fact that development of a nation is directly linked to status of science and technology. Certainly the future of India will be driven by science and technology. We in the Ministry of Science and Technology have taken cognizance of futuristic technologies and launched several initiatives in this direction to keep abreast with the developed nations in the frontier areas of science and technology. One recent example is approval of a massive program about which I also mentioned and the Prime Minister also mentioned today, is a national mission on interdisciplinary cyber physical systems at a cost of 3,600 crores for a period of 5 years. This mission would deliver technologies in artificial intelligence, robotics, cyber security, Internet of Things and so on. Similarly, in the recent past, we have launched national programs on biopharma, stem cell research, etc. And also the National Supercomputing Mission, which was launched in 2015, is almost ready to deliver supercomputing systems in academic and scientific institutions.
Sir, artificial intelligence is a major component of Future India. But there is a fear that artificial intelligence will take away jobs. As Science and Technology Minister of the country, your take on that, sir?
I think this perception is probably misplaced. I would say on the contrary, the mission which my government approved on 6th of December 2018 on interdisciplinary cyber physical systems, it envisages the creation of a large number of jobs and entrepreneurship opportunities in this emerging area. You may recall that a similar misconception was there when the computer revolution was started. But the IT industry now is the biggest employer. It has created a vast variety of jobs. I am quite sure the artificial intelligence will become a boon for our rural people because it can transform the agriculture, healthcare and education in the rural and remote settings.
The government also has been holding India International Science Festival for the past 4 years, in addition to Science Congress. Any special reason, sir, you may like to throw light upon for hosting another mega science festival?
You see, the context of both the activities is different. Like the context of Indian Science Congress and the India International Science Festival is quite different. Whereas Indian Science Congress focuses on science and the scientists, the India International Science Festival, which I in fact initiated in 2014, and we have already organized 4 India International Science Festivals. It focuses on connecting science and technology to people and society at large. Indian Science Congress is attended largely by the scientists, researchers and students, while the Science Festival is attended by a lot of common people along with scientists and technologists. This festival gives an opportunity to the common man to listen to and interact with the scientists and see for themselves as to how science and technology can benefit in their respective fields of activity. Many grassroots innovators from rural locations participate, showcase their innovation in the festival. It has been a very, very satisfying experience for us. In fact, at the last India International Science Festival, where the President of India inaugurated, we had a footfall of something like 10 lakh people, and they included students from the remotest part of India. We have ensured that every parliament member, he is supposed to send some 5 students from his own adopted village, and the ministry takes care of their food, lodging, travelling and everything. So it's a pan-India affair. It's like a science movement of the people, and which has been very, very successful. I don't think there is anything like this anywhere in the world where the scientists, young or old, experienced, students and innovators, and of course the scientific accomplishments of the country are showcased in such an exhaustive and thoroughly inclusive manner. So that's a great experience for us, and I feel so happy and contented at the end of these 5 years that through the India International Science Festival we have been able to convert science into a public movement in India.
Sir, India Science Congress holds a Women Science Congress as well. But the number of women scientists is still low. What steps are being taken by the government towards increasing women's participation in science research academia, sir?
I think the trend is fast changing now. There is a huge level of commitment in the ministry, and more particularly I would say I fondly remember that in the first year itself the Prime Minister called a meeting of experts, and there he in fact formed a committee of experts where the agenda was only to ensure that how we can promote the women scientists and how we can take care of their problems. There are several initiatives and special schemes to encourage and support these women researchers. to make their careers in research and development. There has been a very good increase in the number of women scientists coming forward to carry out R&D projects supported by the ministry. Now we have about 30% women principal investigators for DST supported R&D projects. Under Inspire Fellowships, women candidates are more than 50%. And we have also initiated a pilot project at more than 15 IITs, universities, that's called the Vigyan Jyoti, to encourage girls school students to join science, engineering and mathematics stream. Special grants for R&D are being given to 7 women only. Universities such as Manasthali University, SNDT Women University, Mumbai, Indira Gandhi Technical University for Women, Delhi, etc. So, as a result of all these initiatives, the enrollment of girl students in science stream has increased by at least threefold. Inclusion of a specific session for women scientists itself in the Indian Science Congress is itself an indication that the things are changing. Few years back, there used to be no such session in the Indian Science Congress.
Sir, despite so much talent, two things are still elusive: an Olympic gold and winning a Nobel. When do you see the light of the day coming? Sir, are Indian scientists given the right encouragements to pursue the dream of a Nobel?
I think under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we have created a very good quality ecosystem all over the country. I have personally visited each and every institution in this country, spent almost a day there, had great amount of interaction with the scientists in the laboratories, outside the laboratories, and detailed interactions also. We have done our best to motivate them, and we have also ensured that we have motivated them to work for making science a people-centric issue. Nobel Prize is also very important. And I know after Sir C.V. Raman, we didn't have a Nobel Prize. But this is what we are trying to motivate our people to work with their heart and soul. And I'm sure that in times to come, we'll certainly improve upon our tally in terms of getting these gold medals. But the very fact that the scientific community of India is putting its heart and soul into everything, and they have brought India's scientific progress amongst the first 10 scientific nations of the whole world, that itself speaks volumes about the, you can say, application of scientific intellect for public good by the scientific community of India. And I think for us that is also equally satisfying. I would say it can't be the only parameter to judge scientific achievements. Now we are at number 5 in terms of scientific research publications in the world. You know, our growth rate in science publications is about 14%, while as the international growth rate is just about 4%. We are third in nanotechnology. We are number 1 in early tsunami warming. We are third in weather forecasting. And in terms of our CSIR Chicago ranking, in a list of 1,207 institutions, we are ranked 9th in the whole world. So all this speaks volumes about the accomplishments of our scientists.
So is government planning any collaboration of our scientists with Nobel laureates to improve the research ecosystem?
Yes, of course. You see that quite often we invite Nobel laureates, and there are programs in which we make our scientists access to the Nobel laureates quite easy. And there are several organized initiatives to engage with the Nobel laureates. Even we organize visits of young scientists and researchers to interact with the Nobel laureates every year. We also invite them, as you saw, every time in the Science Congress also. And there is another program for these Nobel laureates which is organized every year. Last year it was organized in Gujarat. So there are ample opportunities for young scientists to interact with not only Nobel laureates but with those doing good work anywhere in the world.
Sir, how far has the government been successful in terms of reversal of brain drain?
I think I mentioned in my speech also, I think the trend has reversed. We no longer talk about brain drain. It's now brain gain. And a lot of scientists all across the world, they have started feeling that there is a good ecosystem in this country under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There are state-of-the-art laboratories, state-of-the-art facilities, and to sort of strengthen this movement to grow, the department has also created institutionalized mechanisms. Like there is a visiting advanced joint research facility, Vajra scheme, which is one recent initiative to attract bright young Indian and foreign scientists to come and work in Indian scientific institutions. Ramanujan and Ramalinga Swami fellowships, they also provide opportunities to Indian scientists to come back to India. And every year, there are more number of people who want to come, and we have to select out of them. So that itself speaks about the changing trend. during last 4 to 5 years, that is only during the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's regime, around 800 scientists of Indian origin have returned back to India, and they have all joined the Indian scientific. Today itself in the gathering, I know a couple of scientists who are wanting to come back to India and who have come to this Science Congress. They are presenting papers here and they are going to highlight their achievements. I know who work in US, Australia and many other places. They want to come back to India.
So what are the steps taken by the government to inculcate scientific temper in the citizens?
I think you have yourself seen all these activities that you are seeing. You are in this. These are all for the public. The India International Science Festival is also for the public. I said it's almost 10 lakh footfall was there in Lucknow, and all we have a organized Vigyan Prasar through which we regularly make publications, and then there are schemes in CSI or also where we in 1 year we invite something like 75,000 to 1 lakh students. They stay in the laboratories and then they are like, there is a sort of a skill development program related to relevant industries. They spend a few weeks there, and that's called the Jigyasa program. There are many other programs like this through which I think we are trying to make science a big movement. And if I have to be very specific, there are this National Council of Science and Technology Communication, Vigyan Prasar, is organizing so many activities. National Children Science Congress is also another organized activity where about 2 lakh children participate all over the country. And there is a special session of Children Science Congress in this main Science Congress also. And in these congresses, there are students who participate in sessions, films, television shows, Nukkad Natak, science exhibitions, mobile exhibitions. They are all activities basically to strengthen awareness for science.
The Prime Minister has always focused on innovation through Atal Innovation Mission and incubator labs and other platforms. How is your ministry complementing and supplementing it?
We are, in fact, every program the Prime Minister he is our leader. In fact, he is a leader for everything. He is the Prime Minister for all the ministries. So he has a very passionate approach towards science, and he in fact encourages and strengthens every aspect of science, and that's why we have now started saying that after Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan and Jai Vigyan, it should be Jai Anusandhan now. And there are a large number of programs on incubation and innovation promotion in the ministry. Several new initiatives have been taken in this direction, and we have also increased investment on all these startups in the last 4 years. I think maybe we have supported about 4,000-5,000 startups in the last 4 years, and there is a program called the National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovations, which is one such example where a whole chain of innovation to commercialization is addressed. And right from seeding stage, where you just nurture an idea, to the stage when the technology will be developed, it will be transferred and commercialized. We support the innovator or the young man. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, anybody who has a bright idea in this country and who wants to develop that idea into an entrepreneurship program, and through that he wants to deliver a technology or a process, product to take care of the problem of this country, to take care of the sufferings of the people of this country, there is the whole government of Narendra Modi standing rock solid behind that young mind. And it is not necessary that young mind has to be a formally educated mind. Even if he is not formally educated, even if he belongs to a village, even if he belongs to a tribal area, but if he has that great, I would say, fitur, madness in his mind to do something extraordinary, the government stands rock solid behind.